It's time for you to come work out with me. Join me for a whole week of workouts. My name's Regan. Welcome to Boom 50 Fitness. So we are going to do 5 different workouts together. By the end of the week, we'll have worked full body, head to toe. Since turning 50, I have changed my workouts a little bit. Kind of went back to an old school style, kind of. I'll show you that all in just a minute. But, you know, before I turned 50, I was strength training 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And then the weekends, I didn't strength train, but a lot of times I would ski and I would still walk, or when I was a runner, I would run. But I did do the strength training Monday through Friday. I broke up the muscle groups, so I never worked the same muscle group 2 days in a row. No matter what age you are, you should never ever do that. You shouldn't be doing a chest press one day and then push-ups the next. Your body needs to recover. It's during the recovery stage when you actually get stronger. So now what I do is I will strength train 2 days in a row, and then I'll have 1 day off. And I found that doing that, I'm so much stronger after my rest day. And so those 2 days I work hard and then I get that day of rest. However, I do still walk, or sometimes I'll get on the bike behind me just to get some cardio in, and I'll do that 7 days a week. I will go for a walk. Maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's an hour. It's always a little bit different. All right, so here is what our week of workouts are gonna look like. Day 1, we have back and core. Day 2, we have chest and calves. Day 3 is a rest day. Day 4, we've got biceps and booty. I love that day. Day 5, we've got triceps and more core. Day 6 is a rest day, and then day 7, the last day of the week, we will be doing shoulders and legs. You are going to notice during the videos that I go pretty slow through all my repetitions. And I see this a lot, and it's definitely one of my pet peeves in the gym is when people are just going through the motions, or in a lot of exercise classes where people are just trying to do as many reps as they can. This is not the ideal way to get stronger. What we need to do is there's a concentric contraction and an eccentric contraction. You want to be really focusing in 100% on that eccentric contraction. So that's actually the lengthening part. So say on a bicep curl, when I'm curling up and I'm shortening the muscle, you would think that's the hardest part. That's a concentric contraction. That's when you're bringing it up. But what you really want to do to get stronger and more toned and to burn more fat is you want to focus on that eccentric contraction, that lengthening, going down really, really slow. So you'll see me on the concentric, I go a little bit faster, and on that eccentric, I'll go a little bit slower, and that's what I want you to do too. When you switch to this style, if you're not doing it already, it's gonna seem really, really hard. That is the idea. You may not be able to do as many repetitions, and that's okay, because you're really focusing in on that lengthening part, and that is where you are going to get stronger. When you first start this type of strength training, it's gonna seem really, really hard. I hope you're doing it now. If you're not, please start, but you are going to need to make some changes to your workout, because one, it's going to take a little bit longer, but you're probably not going to be able to do nearly as many reps. So that is definitely something you will notice throughout this video. There's some body weight exercises that I don't do super slow on the eccentric contraction because they're hard enough already, but you're gonna find that when I've got weights in my hands, I'm usually slowing down for that eccentric contraction and really, really making the most of the strength training workout. Okay, so don't forget that. That's really, really important. I'm such a stickler for form, but I'm really, really a stickler for speed as well. Remember the shortening of the muscle, you can go a tiny bit faster, but coming on down, that lengthening part is when you really want to slow your speed. The other thing you might notice during this workout is I don't always do a long warm-up. In fact, most of the times I don't. I usually film right after I see clients. And even though I don't work out with most clients, I am usually standing the whole time. And I'm also at least showing 1 or 2 reps of each exercise. So my body's already warmed up. So you'll see me do like a really quick warm-up or maybe no warm-up at all. And you probably already know this, but I stretch 7 days a week, a nice long stretch. It has absolutely changed my body, and it can be a game changer for you as well. But you'll see in this video, I'll either fast forward through the stretching part or just skip it all together. But just know that I always do stretch, and I will link some stretching videos right here just below this video so that you can click on that whenever you want. I'll also put a warm-up video down there too, and this is gonna be so fun. So this is a typical pattern of my workouts, but what I will do is incorporate totally different exercises week to week, just so that I don't get bored, just to make it a little more fun and exciting. I am not a huge multitasker because studies have just shown that people are actually less productive when they focus on more than one thing at a time. But you probably noticed my computer in the background because when I do work out, I love to watch any sort of educational videos. So some of the channels I love to listen to while I'm working out would be the Mel Robbins channel. She puts her whole podcast up. If you don't know who Mel Robbins is, check her out. She just makes me smile, and if you're going through any tough time, she's gonna help you with that. She helps you with habits, forming great habits. And then there's another doctor I like to listen to on YouTube. His name's Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Same kind of idea, but just presented in a different way. And then I love a woman named Modern Millie. She's great for if you are creating a YouTube channel or working on social media. She gives lots of great pointers, but those are some of my favorites. Okay, so let's just jump right into it because this video is definitely gonna be on the longer side. And real quick, if you are new to working out, please consult with your doctor before trying any of these exercises. All right, let's go. We're starting with back and core. All right, this is gonna be good. All right, so you'll see me here just starting with a little warm-up. Like I said earlier, a lot of times I don't do much of a warm-up because I have already trained clients. I've been standing a long time. I've been demonstrating exercises. So this is one of my favorite little mini warm-ups where I just have an 8-pound medicine ball. Actually, is that the 10? Let's see. Yeah, that's the 10-pound medicine ball. And I just go straight up and down, and then I'm going side to side. So I'm working all through the core and into the legs and also the arms. So just a little full body warm up. And then I just end here with some twists. I have a straight arm, but a soft elbow. Actually, my elbows are pretty bent, but I'm just twisting side to side, warming up that spine a little bit more. Okay, now it is time to go into the back. I am starting with a 1-arm row. And so I have a staggered stance position, and you'll see that my forearm is just resting on my thigh of my right leg. Then that left leg is back, and I'm using a 15-pound weight here. And like I said earlier, I really focus on that eccentric contraction. So that's right here, coming down really slow. So I pull it up, I pause at the top for a second, and then I bring the weight down really slow. Exhaling on the way up and then inhaling on the way down. My shoulder is far away from my ear, and I'm just pulling that elbow up as high as I can, giving that little pause, and then coming down nice and slow, completely releasing the shoulder, and then pulling back up. Core is nice and tight, face is relaxed. I do 20 on one side, I do 20 on the other side. Alrighty, next up, I call this a lat press. You've probably seen the lat pull machine at gyms. It's kind of an old school exercise that's really effective, but this is one way you can do this exercise at home. This is a body bar that I'm using. It's an 18-pound bar. I could probably go heavier. I just don't have a bar that is heavier, so I use this 18-pounder and I do 20 repetitions, just pressing up, slowly coming back down. My hands are pretty wide and I have my thumbs extended to help support my wrists. I'm exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down, and the bar is coming just slightly below my shoulders. This is actually a great chest opener as well. My knees are soft. I exhale up and I inhale down. And just because we can, why not add a little booty to this workout? This is a deadlift to a row. So this is a compound exercise. And I don't love all compound exercises because usually one muscle group doesn't get to work as hard as the other muscle group. But with this one, it's perfect. I'm using 15 pounds again. And I'm just keeping those knees soft. Look at those pink socks, they're hot pink. Anyway, knees are soft, abs are pulled in really, really tight here to support my back. I just drop it down, I do that row, I pull it up, slowly back down. Again, I'm trying to get that little pause at the top, right there. And then slowly down, and then I stand up. So we're getting the booty, the hamstrings, and the back here. And because my booty and my hamstrings are still feeling strong, I'm going to do one more set, but this time I'll do just the deadlift part. All right, moving on to more rows. I am positioning myself on my physio ball, and this is like the one arm row, but I'm just doing it with two arms, and I'm bending over just like that one arm row. And this is heavy. I'm using 15 pounders here, so I'm really trying to get that pause at the top. It's hard. I am fighting it big time. Pausing and then coming down nice and slow. So just row. This is with a really, really deep elbow, or a deep bend in the elbow, I should say. All right, one of my favorites, I call these standing obliques. So this is for your core, specifically your internal and external obliques. I have a 15-pound weight in one hand, and I'm just keeping that elbow nice and soft. I've got my left arm bent, and I have that hand behind my head, and I'm really, really opening up the chest by getting that elbow back. So look at this positioning. I'm pretending I've got a wall in front of me and a wall behind me, and I'm not going to hit that wall. Knees are soft. Exhale down, inhale up. This is one of those exercises where you can just keep a consistent speed. It's actually going to feel more like a stretch than an actual exercise. But you know when you're gonna feel it? You're gonna feel it the next day. And now I'm moving on to the other side. All right, back on the ball and back to a little bit more back. This is actually getting your posterior deltoid, which is the back of the shoulder. I absolutely love this. It's also getting into those rhomboids. But this is just like a chest fly, which you'll actually see in a little bit, but I'm just bent over. And with the chest fly, I always say, pretend you're hugging a tree. So at the bottom here, I have those soft elbows and I'm just giving that tree a hug. I'm really just hugging those legs. But again, I'm trying to bring it up. I'm really, really trying to pause, but this is an 8-pound weight and I believe I do 15 reps of this. All right, I am now positioning myself on the physio ball so that I can do my favorite core series. So what I love about the physio ball is that you can get a greater range of motion. You can hyperextend your upper body, but in a safe way because your back is supported. So this is just a basic crunch and I do about 10 of these and then I'm gonna twist side to side for 8. And then I'm going to twist with a reach to the opposite leg, the opposite knee. And then I'm going to reach with both hands side to side. And then I'm going to reach center and I'm going to touch the weight stack. So I do 8 of everything except the first exercise and the last exercise. I do 10. And I have been doing this series for a long time and I still feel it the next day. Now, I have added more reps over the years, but this is such a great series. And if it's your first time ever doing crunches like this, just give yourself some grace and take some rest if you need to, because it is a pretty tough series. All right, it's day 2. We're going chest and calves. All right, so I'm just getting some blood flowing a little bit more to those muscle groups before we move on to chest and calves. So it is day 2. And I know I mentioned earlier that I run through all of these days twice. So the back and the abs that we just went over, I run through twice. However, I know not everyone has as much time to spend working out. So if you only have an hour, what you should do is run through it once and then go for a little walk. Because combined, if you do 2 sets, it's gonna take you probably about 50 minutes to run through it all. Okay, so we're moving on to chest now. And I grabbed some 10-pound weights, so starting a little bit lighter. And this is the chest fly I was talking about earlier with the hugging the tree. So my elbows are soft and my arms stay pretty much in the same position even when I come up. They might look a little bit straighter when I'm in a full extension, but those elbows are still soft. And I'm on a bench so that I can get my arms below the bench and get a really good stretch. And I love to have my legs up for this exercise, but it's not necessary. Try it out both ways. If you do it with the legs up, you'll just notice your back feels a little bit more supported. That's why I like it. So coming down really slow, that eccentric contraction, concentric on the way up, exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down. All right, I just grabbed some 15-pound weights. Hello. And I'm gonna lay back down in the same position with my legs up. And this is now a basic chest press. Palms face out now, and I'm dropping the elbows way below the bench. And this time I'm doing a really, really deep elbow bend. Inhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. So notice again how slow I'm going on that down, resisting that weight as much as possible. All right, quite possibly the best, worst exercise ever. We love it and we hate it. This is a push-up, which you probably know. And I know not everyone can have this form. I do 10 like this. And what I'm doing is I'm touching my chin to the mat. Nice straight body. I don't have my butt way up in the air, so I do 10 like that, and then what I do is I drop to my knees. This is a modified push-up, and I continue with 10 more, and this gets deep, deep, deep into the chest. Do not try to touch your nose, try to touch your chin. If you can't touch your chin with a full push-up, only do a modified push-up. You'll get way more out of a modified push-up with the full extension than trying to do a full push-up and not being able to come all the way down. All right, what am I moving on to? Oh, this is just a chest press, but the palms are facing each other this time. So similar to the chest press I did earlier, but instead of the palms facing out, I have the palms facing in. Just another way to get into that pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. Slow, slow, slow on the way down. Press up. Yep. Exhaling up, inhaling down, and tummy is so tight. Okay, what do we have here? I am putting some shoes and socks on. You will notice I do a lot of training in bare feet or just socks, and that's just to create a little bit of instability with my ankles, but certain exercises I have to wear shoes for. So this is a basic calf raise. My feet are shoulder width apart. I am dropping those heels below the step, holding a weight in my right hand and using the body bar for balance. Just coming all the way up and all the way down. You're gonna feel this all the way up into your booty. Exhale and inhale. Awesome, love it. All right, we are going on to the second part of our calf raises. So your calves consist of your gastrocnemius and your soleus muscles. And so now the toes are pointing in, and this is working the outside head of that gastrocnemius. It has two heads to it, an inner and an outer. So when we point them in, we work that outside head. And this is the same idea, but same exercise as the first one, but now toes are just pointed in. And I do 25 of each. All right, we have one more set, getting into position. Yeah, my calves are burning. That, ouch. But I am gonna do one more set, and you guessed it, I'm gonna have the toes pointed out, so we will work the inside head of that gastrocnemius. All right, getting into position, pointing them out like a ballerina, and just coming up and down. All right, now I'm just getting in some quick stretching. Obviously, I didn't do it that fast, but just some light stretching. As you know, I love to stretch, and I usually stretch 10 minutes to a half hour every single day. Yep. Okay, it is rest day, day number 3. So that means we're taking a break from strength training, but we are not taking a break from movement. So make sure you get out there for a walk, hop on a bike and go for a little ride. Nothing too stressful, but get some blood flowing to those muscle groups, and then don't forget to stretch. Okay, it is day 4, and today we're working biceps and booty, one of my favorite workout days. Yep, biceps and booty, here we go. I'm going to start with some 15-pound weights, and I am going to do an alternating curl, and I'm turning my pinky in towards my shoulder at the top. Not too fast, not too slow. I am doing 10 pairs of these curls. I know it's a pretty heavy weight, but I do love bicep day. Knees are soft. I'm going to be using a lot of different weights for biceps. I know that most of you out there don't have as many weights. You might just have a bunch of evens or a bunch of odds. So just work with whatever you can. I've now dropped to a 12-pound weight, and I am doing a concentrated curl. That means my elbow is anchored in at my inner thigh, and I am stabilizing my arm there. I'm holding my actual bicep with my hand, and I'm just curling up and then going down nice and slow. This one's pretty intense. And I am doing 11 of these on each side. Moving on, I grabbed 2 10-pound weights, and this is a basic curl. My elbows are anchored in by my sides. They're also right below my shoulders. I am exhaling on the way up and inhaling on the way down. Notice when I'm coming down with those weights, I'm going just a little bit slower. Face is relaxed, shoulders away from my ears. My belly is pulled in tight. You can't see my legs, but my knees are nice and soft, and I'm not gripping down with my toes. So this is the 10-pound weight, and what I do is 12 repetitions with this one. For the concentrated curl, I did 11. Now I'm doing 12. So I'm going down in weight, but then I'm actually going up in repetitions. So I'm going to put down these 10s, and I'm going to grab some 9s. Shaking it out first. I feel it. So I'm going to do the same exercise with 9s. And with the 9s, I do 13, and then I go to the 8s, and I do 14, and then I go to the 7s, and I do 15. What is next? Hydration. Getting some water in me, and then we will be moving on. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to grab the body bar. So this is that 18-pound body bar that I've been using for balance, and I used for that lat press. And now I have my hands about shoulder width apart. I'm putting my thumbs out to support my wrists. That is a great tip that you can use. These are called 21s. What I'm doing is going halfway up and then all the way down for 7. And then I'll go all the way up and halfway down for 7. Right here, see that? All the way up, halfway down. And this is just another way to work the muscles in your arms. And those biceps are feeling it. Yes. And then we're going to do a full curl all the way down, all the way up for 7. Get it? 21, 7, 7, 7. Oh, biceps and booty time. So we did the biceps, now we're moving on to the booty. Love this one. It's so good. So I'm holding a 15-pound weight and I'm just doing a full squat and I'm doing one abductor lift right there and then an adductor lift bringing that leg across. So we're working outer thigh and inner thigh, but we're also getting that booty with that deep squat. From the front angle, you can't tell how deep I'm going, but what I do is, I'm not sure if I show you a side angle here, but I'm getting my booty just slightly below my knees. So really, really low. And I do 10 pairs on one side, and then I'll move on to 10 pairs on the other side. Oh, I love the band for booty. Okay, so these are just some round bands. If you don't have these bands, you can totally do this exercise without a band, but you know what? You should pick some up. I mean, you can get them anywhere. I actually think I picked these up at Walmart, but any big brand store like Target, Walmart, Kmart, will have bands in their exercise section. Okay, so this band is a medium resistance band. I put it just below my knees, and what I'm doing is an outer leg extension and then a booty extension in the back. So I'm going out to the side, back, and back. And when I go back, I'm going back at an angle to really get into the booty. I have set my timer for 1.5 minutes. And I'm just doing this for 1.5 minutes, and the last 30 seconds I'll be feeling a deep, deep burn. All right, finished with those. I am keeping the band on, but now I am bringing it above my knee. See that? And I'm using a bench, but you could use a low table or a low couch, just something that's stable to get your feet up on. And this is up, out, in, down. That's what I call it. So from the starting position, there's already resistance. So there's resistance and then there's more resistance. I'm lifting my booty, taking the knees out, bringing it back in, and then lowering down slowly. Love it. All right, and now I am holding it up there, squeezing my booty and just bringing the knees out and in. Again, remember, tension from the very beginning. Tension, more tension. Yep, that is it. And now I'm just doing a tiny little pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. So yeah, I'm holding it up there and just little teeny tiny pulses out, getting that deep burn. Oh, if I didn't mention this already, I'm doing 20 of everything. Okay, and now I'm just kissing my booty to the floor and lifting it back up. What's most important here is that you keep the tension in the resistance band. Up and down, you got it, baby. And now I'm just doing a few little light stretches. This is the end of the workout, and then we are moving on. Okay, it's workout number 5 today, and it is triceps, and we're gonna do a little bit more core today. All right, so just like I said, we've got the triceps, and then we're doing the core, baby. And I have one of my 15-pound weights. I've taken it overhead. Elbows are squeezing together really, really tightly. Extending that weight overhead, resisting that weight on the way down. I always like to say, pretend that weight is a back scratcher and you're trying to get it all the way down. And then you extend all the way up to a straight arm, but with a soft elbow to get that full range of motion. This is called a tricep extension. And next up, one of my least favorites. I have one client who absolutely loves kickbacks, and for some reason I just don't love them, but they are so good for your triceps, so I just get her done. So this is a tricep extension with a little twist of the wrists at the top. This is the way you shouldn't be doing it. I see it all the time. Did you see that really fast where you're pulling the weights all the way in to the shoulders? You are not pulling them into the shoulders. You're bringing your arms just a little bit less than 90 degrees. You can see I'm really struggling at this point. Exhaling up, inhaling down, trying to give that pause at the top. This is a tough one. These are 8-pound weights, and I believe I'm doing 15. Exhaling and inhaling. Good job, Regan, you did it. And then I'm moving on. I'm gonna go down in weight, but I'm also gonna go down in repetitions too, because I just struggle bust with this exercise. Some days more than others. This was definitely a struggle day. So pick up those weights. There she goes. This weight now is 7 pounds, and I do 12 of these. And then I'm gonna go to 6 pounds, and I'm gonna do 10. All right, kickbacks are done, and now I'm doing what's called a skull crusher. I love these so much more than the kickback. I don't know why, but I can use a 10-pounder on these. A lot of times people will use the same heaviest weight on the kickback as they will on the skull crusher, but I can go up in weight a little bit on the skull crusher. If I tried this with the kickback, my form would just be terrible. So the skull crusher, I mean, it's just like it sounds. You have to be really careful when you do this. I'm bringing those weights just a little bit above my forehead, but I'm making sure that I keep them about shoulder width apart so that I don't hit myself in the head. And for the skull crusher, I believe I am doing 15 of these, inhaling down, exhaling up, and that is it for the skull crusher. Yay, dips. Okay, this is kind of like the cherry on top. To get in the perfect position for dips, you want to sit on your thumbs, and then your arms will be about shoulder width apart. Now this is a pretty advanced one because I have my legs pretty straight, and I also have one foot up. So if you've been doing dips for a long time, try this one out. Now the farther out your feet are from the step, the harder it is going to be. So if you're struggling with this dip and bending those elbows deeply, scoot those little tootsies in a little bit, and then you'll be able to use your leg strength to help yourself go up and down. It's not cheating, it's just a little assistance. All right, now I'm taking just a quick break, and let me quickly show you that modified version that I was just telling you about. Yep, right here. So I'm keeping my feet pretty close, and look at that, I can push off and use my legs, and look, great form, still getting nice and deep into the triceps. And now I'm moving on to some core because it's triceps and core day. This is an 8-pound medicine ball. I call this a seated twist, and that's exactly what it is. I'm just holding that medicine ball, twisting side to side. I'm leaning back so to the point where my abs are engaged. If you sit too far forward, you won't feel that engagement. So my abs are burning at this point and just going side to side. The knees can go side to side too. If you have any back issues, just put those feet on the ground and maybe don't lean back quite as far. There's another version I'll be showing you where you can do one leg at a time. But I am doing a total of 40 of these twists. Oh yeah, feeling it. Yep, right there, right through that core. And now I'm just going to show you some other options. Yep, scooting back. What are we doing? So there's your the option with the feet down. It's not cheating. Remember, it's just a modification. If you want to bump up a little bit harder, you can do a twist with a little leg lift. And if you don't have a medicine ball, just use one of your weights. And if you don't have any weights, do it with nothing at all. You'll still get into the core. All right, now it's bicycle time. We do this slow and we get the full range of motion. I think in a minute here I'm going to show you the wrong way to do it, the way that I see most people in gyms and in fitness classes doing it. But listen, don't try to race the person next to you doing bicycles. Do it nice and slow and you will get a stronger core faster than that person next to you. Anyway, I'm trying to touch my elbow to the outside of my knee. If you can't touch your knee at all, just try. All our bodies are different. I have a pretty short torso, so it's not as difficult for me to touch my knee. And if you can touch your knee, you're going for the outside of that knee, getting that extension, breathing. Remember that fist should be able to fit between your chin and your chest. I just did 50 of those, and I don't think, maybe I didn't show you the wrong way. I thought I had filmed that. Anywho, the wrong way, there it is. That's the wrong way. I could do that for so long. It's just not that hard. But if you do those bicycles nice and slow, and oh, there we go, wrong way, one more time, just making sure you know. So anyway, what I was saying is if you are not someone who is used to doing bicycles, then 50 might be too many for you to start with. Try 10, take a little break, then 10 more. So now I have moved on to what is called a squirm. At least that's what I call it. And you know, your legs are just in a basic crunch position. And what I'm doing is I'm reaching for the inside of my ankle. So your abs are engaged the whole time. That's what makes this exercise really difficult, just like the bicycle. No rest is going on. Now, if you are touching your ankle easily, the inside of your foot, then push those feet out a little bit. Oh yeah, there's that burn. I just did 50 of those. And then this is one of my favorite series. Then the legs are going in the air and I'm moving on to a double crunch. I'm gonna do 25 of these. Yep. Oh, scoot up a little bit. Wanna make sure you can see the whole thing. Squeezing in and out, the double crunch. Yep. You're just bringing your upper body up as much as possible and that lower body in as much as possible. So this one is 25, exhaling and inhaling on the way down. And then a few quick little stretches, and that whole series took me about 20 minutes. And then I do run through it again, but like I said earlier, if you're new to exercise or you don't have that much time, just try to do one set of everything and squeeze in some walks throughout the day. If you are enjoying this content so far, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I'm just finishing up some little stretches here, and then we are moving on to day 6. It is day 6, and it is a rest day for you, my friend. But make sure, move a lot. Don't sit down for more than a half hour at a time before you get up and start moving again. And don't forget to stretch. I hope you have time to get out for a nice little walk too. Day 7, this is our last day of workouts. Today we are doing shoulders and we are also doing legs. It's gonna be a good one, I promise. And it's gonna be a hard one. Shoulders and legs, here we go. So this is an Arnold. I'm using 10-pound weights here. And we start with the palms in, facing the body, and then extend way up till the palms are out. So it's out and then back in. Wax on, wax off. Tummy is tight, knees are soft. Shoulders are down away from the ears as much as possible. Face is relaxed. Exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down, and on that way down, that eccentric contraction, you are resisting that weight as much as possible. And we're doing 20 of these. All right, so I am now grabbing some 8-pound weights. This is a lateral front, and this is a tough one. And take note at how slow I'm going. No, I'm not making it easier on myself. I'm making it so much harder. If I was to move a lot faster through the range of motion, I'd be able to do a lot more. Does that mean you get stronger? No, it does not. You will get stronger by resisting that weight. You can tell I'm really starting to feel it here. I'm really focusing on my breath, but I'm not letting those weights drop down on their own. I am the one slowly bringing them back down. If this is not the way you train, I can't wait for you to try it out. And don't get discouraged because you're not going to be able to do nearly as many. But I promise you, it is worth it. So I'm putting those down. Because shoulders are so tough, I alternate 2 shoulder exercises with 1 leg exercise. So here, I am doing a reverse lunge and I have 1 foot up on the step. So I've scooted that front leg out so that my knee is not going past my toes. This one is tough. I'm holding a 15-pound weight just to make it a little harder, and I'm getting my back knee below the step each time. So you're gonna get into the booty here, and which cheek am I feeling it on? I'm feeling it on my left cheek the most. Slow and controlled. My chest is lifted here, but hinged forward just slightly. Abs are tight, supporting that low back. And I think I did 15. Let's see, maybe it was 20. But anyways, I do one side, and then I shake it out, take a quick rest before moving on to the other side. Whew, burning. Those legs were burning. And you know what? They were burning, but it wasn't that terrible. But the next day, I was sore. All right, so now here is your basic lateral raise. We are raising out to the side, and one thing I'm doing that you probably can't tell is I am squeezing my shoulder blades behind me the whole time. You know I'm resisting that weight, bringing it down. And what else am I doing? I'm bringing it up just slightly above the shoulders, I'm only doing 10 of these. At this point, I am struggling. So my chest is lifted and I'm really squeezing the shoulder blades behind me, even if you can't tell. So if you don't normally squeeze the shoulder blades, try it next time. You're gonna notice a difference. It's so much harder. Taking a little breather. I did 10 of those with an 8-pound weight, and I'm about to pick them back up and move on to a front raise. All right, here we go. And this is working the anterior deltoid. That lateral raise worked in the medial deltoid. All the way up, all the way down, so slow. Now you'll see that I'm keeping my back pretty straight. So think about a wall being behind you, an imaginary wall, and you're staying up against the wall. If your back keeps hitting that wall hard, your weight is too heavy and you can't control the weight. So it's really important to pick a weight where you can control it. And I'm doing 10 of these as well. Also with that 8-pound weight, feeling it. I have the opposite reaction when I'm on camera. When I struggle, I tend to try to put a little smile on my face to get through it. All right, so I did my 2 shoulder exercises, and now I'm moving on to legs. This is specifically getting right into the hamstrings and the booty. I'm using the physio ball. And I started with my heels right in the middle of the ball. I lifted my hips and my booty way, way up as high as I could. And now I'm just pulling in and out. And you probably can't tell, but usually about this point, I'm dying. I'm struggling, but in a good way. I can make it. So I'm doing 15 of these. So we're probably getting close. Yeah, there we go. There's your 15. And now I'm just doing a little tiny lift and lower of the booty. So good for those legs. I'm doing 15 of these too. So when I am at the top, I am squeezing my ass tight. Pardon the language. Squeezing the booty. Squeezing the booty. Almost there. And then we're going to be moving on to more shoulders. Squeeze. Yeah, that was good. I'm pulling the knees in, just stretching it out a little bit and getting ready to move on to the next shoulder exercise. What do we got? Oh, reaching for the big ones. These are 15 pounders, and I'm going to bring them up to the shoulders, and then we're going to do an overhead press all the way up, all the way down. Yep, the big guns. Nope, not talking about myself. I'm talking about those weights. Press and lower nice and slow. I am resisting that weight so much. You cannot tell, but don't let the weights control you. You control the weights. And I believe I only do 10 of these because this is a big weight, and my form will slip a lot. It still looks good. Am I over 10? Oh, she did it. Yeah, that must have only been 10. And then I'm going to do another shoulder exercise. This one is slightly more enjoyable, at least to start. I grabbed some 10-pound weights, and this is an upright row. So I'm just really resisting that weight. If I had another 12-pounder, I would probably do this one with 12-pounders, but I don't have another 12, so I'm going to stick with my 10s, but I am going to do high repetitions. I'm going to do 20 reps of this. So it's going to take a while because look, I go so slow on the way down. Try to give that little pause at the top of the exercise. Boom, pause, lower, 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 slow. Yeah, upright row. Okay, I just grabbed my Pilates ring. You guys, I'm using a lot of different equipment, but none of it is crazy expensive. pick all of this stuff up. And I'll tell you what, the equipment I use is all you really need for a great workout. And listen, if you don't want to pick up a Pilates ring, but you have a physio ball, like what is back to the right, use that. Just put it between your knees and keep on squeezing. So here, I think I'm doing 50 squeezes. Now, one thing I'm doing just to work into the core a little more is I lift my arms up. So that just causes a little bit of instability. My feet are shoulder width apart, and that Pilates ring is just getting squeezed over and over again. So I do 50 of these, and then I will, I hold it for a count of 20, just an isometric hold where the muscle is shortened and it just stays like that. That's isometric. And then I do 20 little pulses. Looking good so far. So I just keep squeezing. I buy a lot of my equipment. Oh, here's that isometric hold I was mentioning. So I'm just holding everything. I am squeezing everything. I'm working my calves. I'm working my inner thighs, those adductor muscles. I'm working my booty. I'm working my core. And I'm feeling it in my shoulders a little bit because I have my arms extended overhead. And then I go into 20 little pulses, just pulse, pulse, pulse. So what I was saying was I get a lot of my equipment from Power Systems. I will link their website down below. But like I said, a lot of this stuff, most of this stuff, you can find at a sporting goods store or any big retailer. Like Target or Walmart. All right, so I've picked up some 7-pound weights. I call this a lateral overhead with a squeeze. I'm only gonna do 8 repetitions of this, but 1 rep, as you just saw, consists of a lot. Lowering down so slow, slow, slow. That's where you really get the most out of it. So there's your lateral all the way overhead. Then we bring it down, then we squeeze it together. On that squeeze, you gotta touch the elbows. At least try to touch them. Lateral, lower down, squeeze in, open, press slowly down. So when I'm not doing that little chest squeeze, I'm squeezing the shoulder blades together. So for most of this series, you are squeezing the shoulder blades. So they're getting squeezed right now. They're staying squeezed until right there. Release. Now they're squeezing again, and they squeeze until the very end. And then after that lateral overhead with a squeeze, we are doing, I call these lateral fronts. So a front raise with lateral raises. So right here, you are squeezing the shoulder blades behind you. Squeeze, squeeze. When you bring it in front, you obviously can't squeeze anymore, but here's where you squeeze again, right there. So my chest is super lifted. That's where you're not squeezing the shoulder blades. Here's where you are. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing on the way up, release, and then back down. Yes. And yeah, when we're lowering from the lateral raise and when we're lowering from the front raise, we are resisting that weight. We're doing 8 total. I went down to the 6 pounds. You can go lower if you need to. Really watch that form. Oh, I'm dying here. Yes, looks good. Couple more. And now moving on, this is so fun. I'm using the sliders. Again, another piece of gym equipment that is really, really inexpensive. I call them sliders, but I think they're actually called gliders. If you're doing this on a carpeted surface and you don't want to buy these sliders, you can do it with a paper plate. It works just as well. And if you're doing it on a hard surface like hardwoods or another surface, you can use a dish towel. It works just as well. But anyway, on to the exercise. This is a curtsy lunge to a little leg out. So we're not only working the quads and the booty, we're working the abductors and the adductors, the abductors and adductors, your inner and outer thighs. I love it. So I'm trying to keep that front knee as stable as possible, and then I'm just going back to that little tiny curtsy. And this is good. I'm really trying to focus on the whole range of motion here. So I believe I did 15 on one side, maybe it was 20, and now moving on to the head. And now I'm just doing a quick little stretch. It's not my full big stretch, but I'm so glad you joined me for my week of workouts. If you have any questions, please let me know. Just leave me a comment down below. And if you liked this, we'll do another week of workouts soon. I hope you loved this video. Stick with me. I will help you get stronger every single day. My name's Regan. This is Boom 50 Fitness, your new BFF.